Okay, so while I get them lined up, I'll talk about this. I just showed one of the kind of cartoon DVD 5 packs, and I wanted to make sure I had them in order. Um, and if you guys already have some of these, um, then you will know that you got the infamous Duke arms that upset quite a few people. I'm trying to think of what else I've mentioned that didn't make people happy. But with these DVD packs, these are the ones that didn't make people too happy. I just showed this one here, and then I would show you number two. Which I do have one of, thankfully, but of course I had to open it in order to get the, prized Cobra Commander that came out pretty much for the 25th anniversary and on. But I'll talk about that in a second here, I guess. So then you get this one here, which comes with Arise Serpentor Arise DVD. And the other one came with the Mass Device. And this is set 3 of 5, and you get Dusty. But if you don't already know this, and you're able to check it out, make sure your Dusty has his web gear, so that little brown, if I can show you, so that little brown thing right there. If he does not have that, don't get it. Move on to the next one. And, unless you don't care, because I guess what happened was some of these made it out of the factory without that web gear on there, and it's supposed to look like the arms to his backpack, so there are some out there without it, and thankfully I got 2 of them that do have his armbands, or not armbands, but his backpack straps. Then you have a bat here, and then you have kind of another hybrid, but a little bit closer to what Serpentor looked like in the cartoon, and you get to 2 different kind of snakes, in my opinion. I don't really know too much about this one right here, but I know this one right here kind of looks like the one that Serpentor throws at Duke in the movie. Not Arise, Arise, but the 1987 movie, that goes into his heart and originally was going to kill him, but then of course he just went into a coma, because that's something I'll share right now. You probably all know this, but I guess in 1987 when they released, or around there, they released the Transformers movie, and I guess quite a bit of fans were upset and sad and everything that Optimus Prime died. So it did not do too well in the theaters, I guess, and then they were going to release G.I. Joe in the theaters as well, but because the Transformer movie didn't do too well, I guess they didn't. And they didn't want to have the same reaction that I guess they got from Optimus Prime being killed, and so instead Duke ended up not dying. Later they do a voiceover, where Scarlet says something like he's slipped into a coma, and then way, way, way later in the end of the movie, you hear kind of Doc or somebody do another voiceover saying, Duke's gonna be okay, but of course at the end, originally he would have been, deceased, but they changed it, so hopefully I explained that right, and that was also something new. So then you end up with this skeleton right here. I can't think of the name. I'm gonna see if it says in the back who you get. And I probably won't be able to pronounce the name, but so back here you get kind of a view of all the packs that were supposed to be out, and I'm not going to attempt to say this name, but that's it right there, and it's Montezumas, so maybe I will try it anyway. It's Montetumza or something like that skeleton, so it's one of the skeletons or DNA that they needed for to make Serpentor, and So that's rather cool that they got that. And I'm not somebody who's really been able to get into or have that creative bug to do dioramas. So these packs were so awesome to me because you get, the Baroness with her underwater. That's how they collected the hard water from the sea or whatever. And then of course you get that canister, which is cool. And then you get the little skeleton here. The only thing I'll say is if you don't have this pack yet, be very careful. His crown right there loves to fall off, and thankfully I still have it, but I'm always having to put it back on. So if you like that and you want to keep it the way it's supposed to be careful with that. So then we will go on to 4 of 5, which came with the Pyramid of Darkness DVD. And there's that and that. And you get Snake Eyes in a different costume or uniform. You get the pretty accurate, and I think most people are happy with him by now, Major Blood, because that's another one, if you guys don't know this. Major Blood was released single-carded, maybe more than once, but when he was originally single-carded, they used a kind of Devil's Due Zartan body for him, and that did not make very many people happy. And so I believe, unless he's single-carded somewhere else, or maybe he's in the Desert Pack, this is the best way to get a most cartoon accurate Major Blood. And then you get Cobra Commander. Not too much of a fan of the head sculpt right there, even though it's, I guess, very cartoon accurate. And it's kind of nice. They've got Quick Kick kicking him, so it's nice that they've got kind of a little battle going on, at least in this pack. And so Quick Kick is pretty cool. I think some people are upset that he doesn't have lower ankle articulation, but Hasbro's argument for that was, well, we didn't want to give, his ankles the look of the infamous Duke, arms, and so they stayed away from that. And I don't know, it's kind of tough. I don't really understand how some collectors will be upset about a slit or a cut right at the wrist or forearm, and yet they wouldn't be upset if Hasbro had done that to his ankles. So I'm not sure how I feel about that. But anyway, so the rest of this video, I guess I'll talk about the second pack and why I only have one of them. And unfortunately it's not here, but if you see my before I saw the Titans kind of silly video, you can see that I do have the Cobra Commander, and later we'll show some of the stuff from that pack, I'm sure. But that was one of the packs that was the hardest to find, which doesn't make sense to me because it's the second pack. Why was the second pack so hard to find? And I guess it was not, these weren't released in the order that they are labeled. And so what kind of happened, in my opinion and others people's opinions, is the stores got too many of these other packs and they weren't selling. And I guess the last pack was sold one to a case, and I believe you got 5 of these in a case or something like that, where it was like these 2 together or something like that, and the last one was short packed. And so by the time that one finally got into the stores had too many of these, and it's not very easy to find. Nobody has any clue what happened to it. And I was only able to get mine, thankfully, because of my phone. Every time that I could be near my phone, I was going to HasbroToyShop.com, and I was looking to see if they had the pack, and finally they did, and I got lucky at like 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning and got my one. second set of 5. So it's kind of sad, but we'll talk about that more in the next video. Alright, bye.